The Great One's Future by ParadexTM 19 Falmouth Chapter 2. Rimuru Pav. What? The Queen and Prince shouted. It was a bit awkward seeing them so surprised, but I just smiled and looked at Shizu and Mihirin. Both of them smiled. What? Never heard of me? I asked. Of course it was obvious. The king was a bit uneasy in this situation. This was most likely kept only under the kings, Yum said. Is that so? Well, maybe not only my name but also that you are under my control. Under the Jurid Tempest Federation. I said, smiling, and Seal released 0.001% of my aura. The young princess got scared and run to her mother. The king now even more sweat dropped. Shouldn't we talk about these things at a more convenient place? While having a meal? Yum asked, hoping I would take the offer. Dear, let us eat something, I am really hungry, Shizu said, smiling. Is that so, dear? I immediately stopped my aura looking at Shizu. Well then we should eat something, I said looking at the king. Yeah right, it should be finished, let us go to the dining room. I will guide you, Yum said, and all of us walked out of the throne room. Elaine Pav, just who is this person? Why is he so strong? What is the Jurid Tempest Federation? Why do I have the feeling that he even hold it back? What should I do to guarantee the safety of my children? Did I do something wrong? Questions of questions were floating around inside my head while I carried both my young son and daughter. We were on our way to the dining room and both of them flirted the whole way. Just, what is going on here? And that third woman somehow. No, maybe somewhere I saw her face before. I then looked at my children and whispered to them, both of you'll be eating normally and don't talk unless you are asked to say something. Understand? Yes, Mama, both answered, and I sighed. Would someone see me, the queen, carrying my children around, they would freak out saying stuff like, "My queen, you can't do that," or, "They can walk alone now, my queen," or, "Let us carry this." We then all took a seat at our dinner table in the castle. It was silence until the food came and the maids served everything. So it seems we'll be under our own now, Rimuru said. So why is that you almost forgot your most important history? He added as he took a bite of the meat. I don't know it, Rimuru-sama. I myself didn't become much information about these things. It seems like my grandfather wanted to don't talk about that matter, Yum said honest. To the king's surprise, it wasn't Rimuru who answered but the other woman that was with him. Until now she was silent, so no one really looked at her this closely. Let me guess, it was Matthew, she said, and surprised everyone. Matthew? Who's that? Never heard of him, Rimuru said casually. He was the king before Yum's father got onto the throne. He was quite different of the others from my bloodline. I would say he got more of my nature than Yum's, she said. Then my eyes widened. This can't be. I looked at her. Are you Mihirin Farmanas? I asked her. She looked at me and then nodded. That's my name indeed. Third Pav. Suddenly the queen bowed her head. Miss Farmanas, I have utmost respect for you, please forgive me for not noticing, she said. The king was even more surprised. After all, it was the one mentioned to be the one and only wife of Yum, the first of Falminas. Rimuru and Shizu just smiled and enjoyed that Mihirin finally got back to her family. Grandma! The princess suddenly shouted and ran to her, jumping at Mihirin. Whoa! Little one, you shouldn't do something dangerous like jumping around like this, Mihirin said as she stroked the little girl's head. I am sorry for tea. The king wanted to say, but Mihirin stopped him. It's all right, after all she is my niece, isn't she, little Miju? Miju was the only one that gained the light green hair of the loyal family. What surprised her parents, after all they named her before that after Mihirin. They soon thought it was just a coincidence and forget it, but as the little girl grew up, currently 6 years old, she often looked at books that were written about her. As you can see, she really likes you. Sometime I thought she might like you more than me. And she always said that we should look for you. So we did that, but we never found you, Elaine said. Is that so? Mihirin asked and looked at the shining eyes of the child. Still, this is all so much. Where did you all come from, and who are you really, leader of the Jurid Tempest Federation? Elaine asked. Oh, sorry for my wifda. She is just curious, Yum said immediately after that. Ah, don't worry, I've heard that question often, so I am used to it, Rimuru said, and then stopped eating. Where should I begin? I have so many names. As I said, I am the leader of the Jurid Tempest Federation, also well as the King of Tempest. You could add that I am a former demon lord of this world. You also could call me a true dragon, Rimuru said looking at the sky. Well, but most likely I am currently the king of Black Castle, he then said and ended his introduction. I heard of a Black Castle in the strongest Demon Lord territory, Yum said. Who seems like you have good spies, Shizu said looking at them. We've never sent some into your territory directly, Yum said sweating. Ha ha ha, of course not, because they would be dead the moment they stepped into, Shizu said and giggled. Shizu dear, could you stop scare them please? Rimuru said smiling awkwardly. After they had eaten they still talked about various things like what happened in Falmouth as well as slavery and so on, while the queen was clearly uneasy for some reason after she heard Black Castle. It wasn't helping that they talked so long and Rimuru's seemed to be carefree behavior as well flirty way with Shizu. But then Rimuru dropped a question leading to the worst case scenario for her. Your wife seems really serious in being the queen of this kingdom. I've noticed she is quite uneasy since some time. Where did you get someone like her? Rimuru asked you. You are absolutely right, haha. She is always so serious and at the same time so not queen-like. Yum laughed and Elaine laughed awkwardly. My Rimuru-sama, you don't need to praise me like that, haha, Elaine said smiling. Come on, let us stop with this sama. I don't like it at all and I had some decent time here, Rimuru said. Just as I heard about you, Rimuru. Yum said what he said a few hours ago about Rimuru hating to be formal. Well, we Farmanas marry since generations women from other kingdoms royalty to gain a better relationship with them, Yum explained. Who is that so? That's why Falmouth got such a good trading place, Rimuru said. Yes. Well, as for Elaine here, she was from the royal family of. No, don't dear, Elaine said, but it was too late as Yum finished his sentence. The Izmua Empire that had lately a rebellion, but we still have good ties with them, Yum said. And as he finished talking, the mood in the room made a 180-degree turn into a one of total coldness. Both children passed out immediately as 3 different auras spread through the room. Shizu heard from Chloe about what happened and Mihiran had experienced it in person next to Rimuru's side at that time. The dining table got split into 2 as Rimuru only touched it with one of his fingers. He then slowly walked to Elaine that couldn't do anything. Izmua Empire, he. Tell me one ground why I shouldn't erase your existence right here with my own hands, Rimuru said. Please don't kill my children, Elaine said looking scared at her children's not moving bodies. What is going on here? Yum asked. At that time the whole world couldn't move a single finger because they were in a subsended world caused by Rimuru's domination about space and time. Only Rimuru, Shizu, Mihiran, Yum and Elaine still could witness what happens right now. Rimuru grabbed Elaine at her throat, slowly hardening his grip. No. Am I? Miss Aubert. Personally, Elaine said with the last air she had in her lungs. After that Rimuru calmed down as well as Shizu and Mihiran, and he let go of her throat, causing Elaine to groaning and coughing heavily trying to get air. Rimuru then took out his sword and placed it over her shoulder. What did you mean by that? Rimuru asked. Yum wanted to help, but seeing the sword at her throat, he could just watch it. I've wondered about your shining golden hair. Just like theirs. Disgusting, Rimuru said. I once tried to help them because I knew how they were treated, but my father then locked me into prison for months. He only let me out as they got the marriage proposal of Yum, Elaine said. Rimuru looked at her and asked Seal to confirm what she just said. Seeing her body shaking like there were some earthquake make him sigh. After listening to Seal, he then took away his sword, snapping his fingers, which then repaired the entire room and everything that got damaged because of his aura. I didn't come here today to show you fear. But you must understand that just like you try to protect your family, I do with mine too. Learning that your family was treated like slaves over generations, even executed just for fun of your nobles, it grosses me out. That blonde eye of yours, Rimuru said honest. Elaine looked down on the floor, not even thinking of looking up to him. She even began to cry. I am sorry, I am so sorry. Yum then came to her and hugged her, trying to comfort her. Shizu hugged me from behind and just said, it's not your fault. I closed my eyes and enjoyed her embrace for a few minutes. Then after everyone calmed down a bit, the queen, still shaking Rimuru, stepped forward to both of them. I've manipulated your children memories of this. They won't know anything and they are not injured at all. As a little sign of my grace I will give you this sword, I said and took out Tempest sword. This sword is called Tempest Sword. It is something that I really value. It even has the dragon core of my brother in it. Well, I sealed its power a bit. This sword is for your son. I sensed a great potential in him, but this is a katana. You'll need a special trainer for it, Rimuru said. The queen stood up and tried to regain her composure. I can't accept his I know that what I did. Rimuru smiled. I lost my composure there. I shouldn't have done this to you, so take it, Rimuru said. Shizu was smiling satisfied. It is a rare thing for Rimuru losing his mind like that, and it's even rarer for it being not necessary, but when he apologizes when it still works out. As for your daughter, Murin, do you want to stay a few weeks here? Rimuru asked. Murin nodded. Yes, Rimuru-sama. I am sorry for not noticing earlier, Murin said. Rimuru then looked at Yum. We will talk some time again. You are a good man as far as I can see, Rimuru said, and then teleported away. Mihirin paused. That was a mess. Just like I thought, and looked at them. Are you alright, my wife? I am sorry I couldn't do anything for you, Yum said, hugging Elaine. It's alright, dear. I am just a bit shocked, Elaine said. You couldn't have done anything, I said. Asn walked over to the prince, picking him and Miju up and laid them down on the sofa in the dining room. That strain. I just felt like. His golden eyes pierced your soul. I finished her sentence and she nodded. It's because he can. If you wolf lied, you were simply dead, but Rimuru isn't like this. He even forgave me for setting up a barrier around his town with the reason to kill them, I said, sitting down next to my nieces. You mean when Falmouth attacked? Yum asked. Yes, exactly then. Just like today, he saw that I was trapped. Someone took my heart, making me a puppet that couldn't go against his orders. But he saved me, I explained. Elaine sighed. Actually, I wasn't scared because of what he did. My father often strangled me like that. It were just his eyes. I simply nodded and then looked at the sword. You should treat it as a national treasure because that's what it is, I said, and both nodded. Mom. Dad, what happened? Grucius asked. My son. Rimuru and Shizu-sama left a few minutes ago, Elaine said while hugging him and Miju. Is Mihirin gone too? Miju asked. No, she is still here. Look, Elaine said, turning her daughter around to Mihirin. You grandma. And just like that, those two children had cured Elaine's and Yum's fear and thoughts. What just happened? Even Elaine understood why he did what he did as she hugged her children. Rimuru I teleported Shizu, Minami, Vera and myself back to Black Castle into the throne room. Really, since I woke up from my slumber, I sometimes lose my control, I said, sighing. Don't worry, dear. We all can understand why. Even I don't like how this world got like after we left, Shizu said, hugging Rimuru again. Minami and Vera immediately kneeled. We deserve to be punished, my queen, they said in union. For what? I asked them. We were not there to help when our queen had trouble, Vera said. Should I let them pay right now? Minami said, angry. You won't do anything, I said, a bit sharp, and both of them flinched. I am tired today. Shizu, handle this for me please, I said. Of course, dear, I'll train them, Shizu said with her demon teacher smile on her face, and I teleported back to my room. Seal, please activate the sleeping mode, I said. You did nothing wrong, master. I should have controlled your aura, Seal said. Just activate the sleep mode, Seal, I said, tired of this day. Can I sleep with you today? She then asked. I said sleepy, and then only could feel like someone hugged me and fell asleep.